So what direction should you be planting your brand new veggie garden beds? Well, in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to talk about, because I was blessed with 3 birdie beds. They're made here in Australia. And yep, Mark's some self-sufficient me. He said, don't tell anyone. I tell everyone all the time how cool that dude is by giving me these beds, because I couldn't afford them at the time. And he actually made a full video on it about where to place them. Now, I wish that I'd placed them probably a little bit better, but I'm pretty stoked. There's only one spot, or maybe 2 spots, where I think I could have maybe changed it just a little bit. But I was only here new to this place and still learning where the light is. But the whole thing is about light and wind and creating your own little mini ecosystem, right? Now, if you can hear the chickens in the background, that's because they're down there having a little cluck around. It's probably a little bit dark there, but yep, they're getting ready to lay some eggs. And they're a big part of this garden, but that's a whole different video as we speak. Now, I love these raised beds. They're a bit tricky. You've got to fill them up and do like a hugelkultur method, and then I just put straw bales on top and then start filling them full of compost. It's quite cheap to do that. But the whole thing, if we don't get the direction right, we don't put them in the right place, well, we don't get optimum growth, right? And here in Australia, what I like to do is have my beds east to west. Now, what you want to do is get the morning sun. The morning sun, in my opinion, is the best light. It's the softest light, it's the most filtered light. It's still getting through sort of the mist and the morning sun and things like that. And I'm out here in the morning sun getting my rays as we speak, some vitamin D. And plants really, really love it, especially plants that don't like too much afternoon heat. We really want to protect them from that afternoon sun. And our tropicals and things like that, yeah, they can take that afternoon sun with no problem at all. So I like to do an east to west direction. And you can put them also north to south, which a lot of people do, and they plant accordingly to get the morning sun for certain plants like leafy greens and things like that. Really important, because if it gets too hot on your leafy greens, like your lettuces and things, it becomes bitter and they just don't do as well as they should. So I like to put mine east to west, and that's the configuration we've got here. They're pointing sort of down long, and I've got 3 of the beds. So 1, 2, 3 down here. And we'll come up and down the beds as we speak, so I can give you better advice on these garden beds. Now, these plants here, they're getting a little bit blocked by that morning sunlight, because I've put this trellis here. I probably should have put the trellis down the other end to capture the morning light and allow those plants. But these beans, they self-sowed here, and they were here last season, and I thought, yep, I'll just put the trellis here. So I'm not too bothered. You saw how well those leafy greens are going, right? And they will come out. So that's the chard. They will give up the ghost as soon as it starts getting too hot. Now, with configuration, when you're putting them on the south side, so example, wherever you are in the world, the cooler side of the winds is really where you want to build your trellises, right? So you can actually capture and grab light, especially if you're in a cooler zone, like say down in Tasmania or certain parts of Victoria, before it starts getting too hot. And so what I've done here is this is all capturing all this beautiful morning sun, and in the morning on this side, and on the opposite side it's going to catch all the west sun. And these are beans and tomatoes, snake beans and tomato. They love the heat. And we've got some kangkong down below here, loves the heat also. Beautiful looking plant here. But what we've got here now, if you didn't see my trellis, well, about actually doing the tomatoes and esplaineering them, so I was talking about pick and pruning. I talk about that more in that video, so check that out. It was only out a few days ago, and I'm esplaineering them here on here And this is on the south side of my garden bed, so that'll cover that whole wall there. And any cool breezes that are coming through, especially in the winter time and early springs, late autumn, that will actually trap the sun on this side. And this will work. So this one here that I was talking about was blocking the morning sun. It'll work really good in winter though, because it'll actually trap the heat into this corner. So sometimes you just got to plan accordingly. I've created its own little mini ecosystem here, and we've got the activated mulch happening here, which I also created a video about just very recently. And check that out if you haven't learned about activating your mulch, because what I'm talking about really here is getting your garden bed started and understanding the position, whether you're just doing a no dig garden, some type of dig garden, maybe you're not using raised beds, you're just doing it straight on the ground and getting started. You still want to understand the direction of your garden beds. So we'll come down here to the last garden bed. I've got something that I want to talk about down in here in this corner. Now this is the spot where I believe was the best, because when I moved here it was winter and the house is here, right? And so the morning sun comes straight in, it hits these white walls, reflects light back onto this garden bed in the winter. And in the summertime it actually comes over the top and it only gets morning sun, so it doesn't get too hot here. And the west sun, which is the hottest sun in Australia in the summer period, doesn't get in here. So these plants really do great right through the whole year. It's probably one of my favorite spots, just for the fact that this house here is blocking the cool breezes in the winter time. It's trapping light and reflecting light at the same time and helping me to get optimum growth, like you can see on these plants as I am growing them here in my garden. We're just about ready to harvest this lettuce. Look at that, guys, just beautiful. The bok choy is about to come out, and these beautiful tomatoes. Wow, how cool is that? Now we're going to head around to the front garden. Now remember, we're talking about the orientation here of getting it right and understanding your plants. When you understand, actually, I forgot something, guys. I did forget something. I'm going to carry it with me because I want to show it to you towards the end of the video. It's really, really important. It's this here, and we're going to discuss it near the end. So we'll keep going down to the front garden, and I'm going to show you something down here about orientation, because I actually built out the front gardens last, and one of the reasons why we did it is because we just love to grow more food. And the front garden actually has gotten a lot of attention because we're out here a lot, talking to neighbours. I'm selling my compost out the front here. We're growing lots and lots of different crops. And my wife likes to garden out here as well. She gets all her beautiful succulents out here. And yeah, we just love it. And also, one of our favourite projects at the moment is the Victory Garden. Look at that. Whoa, it's like just absolutely amazing. Yes, a container Victory Garden, V for Victory. Let me know if you've been watching the series and getting into it, because this garden is absolutely just going mental, as we like to say here on the channel. It's the new word. Shirley loves it. She reckons it's really Aussie style, going mental. Now this does not get the morning sun here, but in winter it does really, really great, and it gets the west sun. By about 9 o'clock, the sun's pouring in here, and it's protected because it's got all this fencing and trees over here. It's protected from cool breezes. It's trapping its own micro ecosystem, and I'm building these soils all around here as best as I can. So understand, you're building ecosystems, you're blocking cool breezes, and you're building soils at the same time, and planting, getting your trellises right and all that in the right directions so you can get it right the first time. Now, we've got another video coming up, and I'm going to be working on this soon because people are asking about this stuff, about what to plant now and then. Now, if you want to get in early and you haven't got time to wait for the video, this is it. This is a garden planner by Aussie Gardener, and I'm going to talk about this more in the next video coming up. If you've got right to the end, you've got the bonus and learn about this. I'm going to leave a link for it in the description. You can get the laminated version, which I like. Look, I wouldn't say it's exactly cheap. I think it's around about $28 or something for this laminated version. But, mate, the stuff on this is just gold, believe it or not. It's got everything you need to know for planting what plants and sowing what time and all these different things is information in here. And you can get the digital version really cheap as well if you just want to go for that. And plan to plant out when and where, because, hey, it's spring in Australia. And we're going to talk about more about this in an upcoming video. But there's a link in the description. I am an affiliate with Aussie Gardener, so I will get a small commission to anything that you buy, but you get 10% off when you do it through Marty's Garden. How cool is that, guys? All right. Hope you got some good value out of that video, and I'm helping you with your gardening. I'm all about this season helping you save money and grow as much fresh food at home so you can get ahead and change your life, my friends. Have a great day. Happy gardening. We'll see you in the next video real soon. Bye for now.